All right, I'm here, guys. What's up? What's up? I'm here. Hope you're all good, man. Winnie, hope you're all good. AWA order. Earlier stream because I got plans I got plans tonight, and this stream, the stream I plan, I got some time before. Like I actually got a few hours to kick it, to talk, to whatever. I hope you all, uh, I hope to see you in the chat if you can. When you could pop up, we would appreciate it. Excuse me, I just had a drink. Yeah. All right, we're gonna take what the plan is tonight. Take a look at Grace Randolph's take on the Fantastic Four First Steps trailer. That's the plan. Okay. All right. I'm gonna. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know where blinded is. Oh my god! What the hell is this? My avatar is gone. My avatar. Okay, I'm slowly back. There, we got the avatar back. All right. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna. So okay. Before we get into this trailer, the thing is 3 minutes long. The no her video, her breakdown, trying to break down Easter eggs. It's 23 minutes long. I think her Superman one was longer. To be frank with you guys, I think her Superman was longer, but whatever. Okay. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Say hi in the chat. Make sure to share, like, subscribe, do all that, please. You will not. We'll see how fun it is. And where's Blinded? Where's my buddy Blinded? And where's everybody else? And I'm gonna have some fun too. You know what? Why not? Why not? Why not? Yeah, I don't know where everybody else is in chat. I know somebody else liked the video. That's good. Thank you. All right. I'm just gonna wait till somebody says something in the chat, then we'll start. All right. No, okay. I wonder where Blinded is. Really, I do. Because I know he wants to go over this with me. That's the plan. He wants to go over this with me, but you know what? He's not here yet. Okay. Let you know there's no stream tomorrow. Who is it? What the hell are you talking about? Come on, seriously? I'm not joking this time. Oh, we got 7 people watching this time. This, all right. Fight you in what? You're the Diddy boy, Brad. All right. All right, man. I don't know where Blind will pop in when he gets here. All right. Oh, let's go. Let's this trailer. With this trailer, this analyzing by Grace. Let's see what she has to say, guys. Let's go. Oh, I'm on the bottom. Again. No, take this out of the way. I'll put this here.
And just like that, July is suddenly in play. I can't believe it! You know, we'll see how the Jurassic World Rebirth trailer looks tomorrow, but I gotta say, and I didn't love the Superman trailer either, but I like it more than this. And they have.
Yep. I do too. I'm gonna say I do like the Superman trailer more than this too. But the way she sounds it sounds condescending. Oh, are you kidding me? All right, I know she's gonna make fucking bullet points because that's what she does.
Have a similar vibe a little bit. They both have a, well, Superman I think has kind of a retro feel, but you know, I don't think that James Gunn has gotten lost in this branding idea, this theming idea like Marvel has. I think Marvel's over theming.
Over theming? Is that such a thing? Over theming? Is that a word? Over theming? Is over theming a word? That's not even a word. Over theming is not even a word. There's no such word as over theming. Okay. That's not even a word. Whatever.
Talk about it. We're going to discuss it. But yeah, what
She's just making up words now. Over theming.
trailer do you prefer between the Superman
Prefer the Superman trailer.
And the Fantastic Four trailer? Both first looks. And I gotta say, I think Superman is the better trailer of the two. And it has a 2-week lead on this movie. The internet pretty much overall is like, man, I mean, I think everybody's a little miffed that Marvel made us wake up ridiculously early, then wait an hour for the broadcast. You know, a 15-minute themed pre-roll would have been fine. Or if the pre-roll had more to it. But it was just kind of like,
that was a waste.
Repeat.
That was a waste, yeah.
And then, even when it was an hour, they were like, let's talk to the cast. And in the comments, I saw that everybody who was watching live was like, why don't you do this after you drop the trailer?
Yeah, after.
And also, this was the most interesting thing to me. Everybody wanted to know where Robert Downey Jr. was. And I was like, uh-oh.
Hey,
He's not
Patrick.
a star in this movie, but Robert Downey Jr. is like, yes, he's back. You know, Robert Downey Jr. loves to be the star. And that's who everybody wanted to see. You know, they were casting this.
First of all, why would they spoil that? Why would they spoil Doctor Doom? Doctor Doom is probably going to be in the movie, but he hasn't been officially confirmed to be in the movie, and it's going to be a surprise. No, the dumbest idea is have Robert Downey Jr. there. This this ruins the surprise element. Ruins the surprise element. And where's Blinded? Where's Blinded? Is he on? Is he on? Is he on PlayStation? Let me check. He's not on there. All right, let's continue. Man, can we relax on the Doctor Doom element? Let's be surprised, please. People don't like to be surprised anymore.
This movie, a lot of their first choices said maybe, and then ultimately no, thank you.
How do you know they approached all those faces that you saw on there, or you're just like one of those people being duped by scoopers that have no evidence, no proof. They're just making shit up. How do you know they actually approached them? How do you know? You honestly think? You honestly think Adam Driver turned on the role of Reed Richards and they went to Pedro Pascal? I probably bet they went to Pedro Pascal before Reed Richards. Okay, I bet you. What makes you think? What makes you think all these the faces on here were actually approached, and not just rumored, not just speculated, created by fake scoopers, just grifting, coming up with shit that hopefully sticks to the wall and be. Yeah, see, I told you so. Because you're one of them, Grace. You've done it before.
And I think what we were getting, we made ourselves excited about the cast that they went with. We had some reservations, but I think now that we've seen them in this,
It's the problem is we had some reservation. You don't speak for everybody. Stop it, Grace. We had some reservations. Man, come on. Okay, you don't speak for everybody. Stop doing that. Stop doing that, please. People, stop doing that. Stop saying you speak for everybody on fucking social media or YouTube. You don't speak for everybody. Okay? Just stop. Just stop, please. Just stop. Okay? I could just put the Uncle Phil mean from Fresh Prince and be like, who? We? You know? Stop it, people. Stop with that. I think we can speak for everybody. Or we have renovations. Who's we? You don't speak for me, man. And nobody else speaks for me. And nobody should speak for you either, Grace. And nobody should have respect for people like John Campbell. You don't speak for me. I don't speak for you. In terms of we. Okay, like that. You like okay? And where is nothing? Stop.
teaser trailer, we're back to being a little bit with the casting turned out. I think that might be a problem for this movie. I think.
Oh, so you haven't. You see? You see? You see? The casting. The casting is gonna be a problem. I have reservations about the casting, but I'll give it a chance. Patrick Pascal in just a crit a little bit. I'll see, but I'm not gonna.
Obviously, they're going for The Incredibles, but it doesn't feel, The Incredibles, WandaVision, although one of you have made a very interesting.
Alright, so The Incredibles was kind of like influenced by the Fantastic Four, the family theme, things like that. Okay? Going for the Incredibles thing. What do you think the Incredibles were influenced by? Okay.
Point in my trailer.
Is Evie? Are you gonna do the Bat family? If Batman, if Brave and the Bold has a Bat family in it, are you gonna do the same thing for that? How it's gonna be? You're gonna compare it to the Incredibles, things like that? Are you? Like, come on, like can we stop comparing?
Reaction, and that's that Fallout has a similar vibe, even down to the blue
Fallout.
suits, but yet is more vibrant. And that's
Fallout. Fallout. Where the hell did he get Fallout from this? Because vibrant blue suits.
that's a streaming show, and this is a movie. It reminds me actually of two films, which both went with not only.
Oh my god, Fallout. Fallout, guys. Fallout. She had to use Fallout. All right. All right. Let's go. All right.
A 1960s time period, but also a cold aesthetic. I don't know. I guess because science, right? That's why why they chose it here. I think a little austere, a little bit hard to connect with, and a little streamingy. But it reminded me of the recent Indiana Jones film from James Mangold, even down to these posters. My kingdom for a character poster, man. I like the main poster they released yesterday. But these posters, again, they're so like, look at the theming. And I'm like, man, but I'm not as.
I think those posters are AI, honestly. I think those are AI. Those posters look too damn good to be not AI generated. I know they said they're not, but I think they're AI. I don't care what they say. They can deny it all they want. I don't know. They just look AI generated to me.
Excited as the crowd in that poster. You haven't shown, you haven't sold me. I'm like, what's that crowd looking at? It must be amazing. I wish you'd turn the picture over there so I could see what they were looking at.
What do you think they're looking at? Great. Oh my god. This is a dumb moment for her. What do you think they're looking at? Who do you think they're cheering on, taking pictures of? What do you think those flags are holding, those posters are holding? What do you think the symbol the flag symbol is? What do you think those posters are saying? Who do you think they're looking at? It gives away who they're looking at. It's obvious. It's evident who they're looking at. You can't miss it. How can you miss it? They're looking at the Fantastic Four. Whether in front of their building, in front of their spaceship, or just in front of them, whatever. They're looking at the Fantastic Four, the team, the Fantastic Four team. That's what they're looking at. Why else would they have a flag, the Fantastic Four flags, in posters, in cardboard cutouts, writing Fantastic Four on it? What do you? It's right out there in the open. Who? If, oy vey, oy vey. This is a dumb moment for her. This is a really dumb moment. This is a dumb moment. I mean, I wish Blind ever saw this, seen this. This is really a dumb moment for her. How can she not knows that what? Like, is she blind? I don't know. Is she literally blind? Like, seriously, how can you miss that? Who they're looking at? Who they're cheering on? They're cheering on the Avengers, Grace. They're cheering on the Avengers. That's who they're cheering on. The Avengers. Okay? They're cheering on the Avengers. They're cheering on the Avengers, guys. Okay? They're cheering on the Avengers. I want to stay here. I want to stay here because Blind is going to be on. I want to stay at this section because we'll start here. We'll start here where Blind comes on because I just have to. I just have to rip her a new one here. Me Blinded have to whip her a new one here. I mean, this is ridiculous. One of the most stupidest things she's ever said I've ever heard. A baby could catch this. What they're cheering on. Oh my god. It's like he'll be on soon, but I'm gonna stay right here. I got time. Alright? I got time. This is really not a good moment for her if you ask me. Not one of her I never see anybody I never see anybody not get seriously. How can you not see what this poster, what the crowd is looking at? What do you think they're looking at? They're looking at they're looking at Batman. That's what they're looking at. Batman, guys. They're looking at Batman. No, they're looking at Superman. Okay? They'll be looking up they're looking up Carnage. No, they're looking up the Green Goblin. Come on, Grace. You know what this is. I It's not rocket science. Come on, Grace. You I don't know if you're playing dumb or you're just having or it's just a stupid moment. Because it's right there. Well, you gotta let them grow, JFC. You know, you can't have everything in the first movie, right? Okay. Where's Blinded? Alright, Blind will be here in a minute. Oh, holy. What am I watching? Oh my god. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I was looking for something. Okay, Blind will be on soon. Maybe I'll just pass. Bye.
And then also some of you said X-Men
Who are they looking at?
First Class, which I found very interesting because a lot of comic book super hardcore. I mean, I don't like X-Men First Class, and I'm an X-Men fan, but some people really liked it, but not a lot. It's one of the lowest grossing X-Men.
Once again, you go to box office justifying how good a movie is based on look at those, Grace. You got Apocalypse there. Apocalypse is terrible. X-Men Last Stand is there. Does that mean it's better? It means it's better in First Class? No. Dark Feet. Oh my god. Come on, Grace. Box office. You can't always use a box office to justify your point of view. Not always. Not with X-Men. What's up, Sideways?
Movies, and that group of X-Men only did well when they paired them with the originals for X-Men Day.
See, you can't. You always use the box office to justify everything. You're trying to justify your point of view, your points. When look at that list. Look at that list. X-Men Apocalypse is 5th on that list. That movie was horrible. But Apocalypse did well, 540 million. That's good. But that movie's horrible. X-Men Last Stand was horrible too. Horrible. Wolverine, horrible. X-Men 2 is great. But look, I guess a lot of people did like X-Men 2. X-Men 2 is considered the best X-Men movie. I guess a lot of people did not like the X-Men 2 either, huh? Huh? Yeah, exactly, Sideways. I guess a lot of people didn't like X-Men 2, huh? X-Men 2 is considered the best X-Men movie, right? Right? I'm not talking about best X-Men movie. Look at it. Only not even 500 million. I guess that means a lot of people don't like X-Men 2. You see, she pushed up this X-Men Deadpool / box office, the success of the movie's done, but she kind of unintentionally counteracts her own point, her proof. Her point. Like, Dark Phoenix is horrible. The New Mutants, yeah. Well, New Mutants was a funny uphill battle, but First Class to me was better than Apocalypse, Last Stand, and the Wolverine, and X Men Origins Wolverine. And no, X Men Origins Wolverine. The Wolverine was okay. Yeah, X Men 2. Yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah, X Men 2 is considered one of the best comic book movies. But look where it ranks in the box office. It's in the middle. And she says, "Oh yeah, X Men First Class was horrible. Look at the box office numbers, but look at X Men 2. X Men 2 it made 50 million more. 50. Yeah, 50 million more. She really set herself up here." Oh my god. And I didn't have to bring up the box office. I didn't have to bring up the box office for all the X Men movies. She did it herself. Thank you.
Days of Future Past, which was a more vibrant, energetic film. But yeah, this reminds me of X-Men First Class meets the recent Indiana Jones film. And that's a horrible pitch.
Oh my god. Nope, she's really shitting on the movie. All right.
So we're going to go through this. But
she even said she did not know with this poster here. She didn't know what they were looking at. She didn't know what they were looking at. Like, what's this? Who are they cheering on? Oh wait, it would be awesome if they showed who they're cheering on. I mean, it's right there in the fucking poster. Who they're cheering for? Grace? Are you kidding me? It's obvious.
I am very, I said in my trailer reaction that while intellectually I recognize that it's very comics accurate, it's just not hitting me in the feels, at least not yet.
Hitting me in the feels. Hitting me in the feels. Wow. Who says that? Hitting me in the feels. You mean just say you're not feeling it, but who says like hitting me in the feels? Like what? What? Whatever. Okay, you can say what you want.
Again, I do think they got maybe lost in this idea of it's the 60s. And I'm like, all right, so
what's wrong with that? Also, it's a period piece, like Sideways says. Also, it's a different universe. What's the 60s universe? It's not necessarily the same kind of 60s that happened in our. Hey, TJ, it happened in our world. It's good to see TJ here. In our 60s, in the 616. This is a different universe, all right? In the fields. You ever heard that before? In the fields? You ever heard somebody say in the fields? I never heard that before. In the fields.
let's go through it. All right.
Let's go through it. Okay.
Okay, here we go. So yes, we start in the Baxter building. And yep, that is very Incredibles.
Very Incredibles. Very Incredibles. So a nice 60s retro penthouse in the Baxter building is very Incredibles. I'm pretty sure the Incredibles live at the beginning in the house, right? Didn't they, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, didn't the Incredibles live in a house? Like a family house? Like just in a suburbs community, neighborhood, but not in the fucking penthouse of the Baxter building? I remember, didn't the Incredibles, like, I don't know, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure the Incredibles lived in a regular suburban community, in a regular house, like like a regular middle class family, where here they live in a penthouse on top of the Baxter building. How's that for Incredibles? Okay? The Incredibles was influenced by Fantastic Four. Exactly. I'm pretty sure there was. Yeah. Some of the Jetsons, yeah.
Very much so. Although oddly on a smaller scale. I'm like, the Incredibles living room looked a little bit better. But yeah, that's definitely the Incredibles. And I think to
Dude, the Incredibles. You saw the picture. The Incredibles does not look retro. Retro 60s doesn't look anything like the same time period piece as the Fantastic Four. The Incredibles look in the current time period, right? Current time is in. The Fantastic Four looks like the 60s. This shot in the Baxter Building looks like the 60s retro time for that time, man. It doesn't look anything different. The time period, the setting, the background looks different compared to the Incredibles. The Incredibles look like modern time, man. That looks like modern time. What is she talking about? It looks like modern time. The Incredibles looks like modern time, where the Fantastic Four looks like a very futuristic 60s, because it's not exactly going to be one for one like how the 60s were in our real world, in our real life. It's more like what the retros would be like in their universe that they're in. The 60s, not as that. The 60s in the universe that they're in, they're not a 616. That exactly have to align with the real life 60s. Like real life 60s, all right? It could be, for example, I could say it's the 60s in their universe. I'll just use any example. JFK or no? When was JFK assassinated? Okay, 1963. I can say JFK was never alive in the universe they're in. Okay? Because it's fucking fictional. It doesn't have to be exactly accurate all the time. Okay? Okay? You know that, right? Right?
for Disney to some degree, this would be nice for theming for theme parks. The Contemporary Hotel was recently redone for.
Okay, because the first film Incredibles took place in 1962. Yeah, well, it doesn't look like it doesn't look like the 60s, whatever.
Incredibles. I guess they could make it the Family Hotel and also put the Fantastic Four in there if the film is successful. So
She really wants like she really wants like a theme park. Like, part of the Marvel part of Disney, where Marvel is, where they have the Marvel section in Disney World or Disneyland. She wants like to have them like the top the suite of they want them to set up a suite for the guest couture and stuff. That's what she wants.
I can, and I think it lends itself to much, like people like the Pan Am stuff that's been popular. Some of you mentioned it looks like the TWA hotel, and where was that, JFK or whatever. But I think that again, I don't like Mad Men got a lot of awards. People like to talk about Mad Men, but not a lot of people watched Mad Men. That's not something that's discussed very often because it makes the show look bad. But Mad Men actually.
Not a lot of people watch. Not a lot of people watch the movies that are getting nominated for the Oscars, but they're getting nominated for Oscars. How many people? Right? right? Otherwise, it would have made money, some of those movies. They would have been hits.
Actually didn't have a very big audience. All right, so there we are in the Baxter building, and you'll notice that Vanessa Kirby, just like Jack Kirby, no relation, I'm sure, but this actress's name is Vanessa Kirby, and Jack Kirby was the artist and co-plotter, because of the way Stan Lee wrote comics, of the original Fantastic Four. So here we are in the Baxter building, getting a tour, and
yeah, it's getting a tour. You know what Blinded said, right? Blinded believes he was on my stream yesterday, or I don't know, or the day before. I forget which day it was. He believes like this is a documentary. They're just playing a face, playing like everything is good kind of face. But when the cameras are off, right? When the cameras are off, it's not what it seems. It's like. It's like when Bruce Wayne plays that playboy billionaire in public, right? But once he's not in public anymore, he goes to the real Bruce Wayne comes out where he is Batman, working in the Batcave, all that shit, right? It's not his public persona and his real persona are not the same thing. That's what it's like here. It's like everything is good. The family is all good in the public eyes, but once the cameras are off, the truth comes out. The real face comes out.
It's very stilted.
You're playing for the camera instead of, that's what you're doing. Very stilted.
Some of you aren't sold on Pedro Pascal as Reed. We'll talk about him in a later shot. I think he's okay. He's definitely doing a character. Yeah, that's,
Of course he's doing a character. He's playing Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, the real fire. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Of course. Yeah, TJ. Oh, right, TJ. Everybody's gonna try to be on their best behavior in front of a camera, right? Everybody, right? When in reality, it's not what it seems.
I think maybe that's another element that seems weird. They're not just playing these characters. It feels very much like they've gotten the direction that they're doing a wink wink Saturday Night Live sketch, 1960s parody.
Oh my God.
Instead of just they're genuinely these characters. So I'll be curious to see how they mix in with the rest of the MCU eventually, because they're not just in a different time period. I wish it played like Mad Men. They
are in a different time period. In a different universe.
They act like, oh, what do you think, Jim? It's interesting. It's an interesting choice.
Shit, my God.
So they're like family dinner nights. It is a little Jetsons-y too.
Yeah, I bet you they don't have family dinner nights. I bet you they say, yeah, we have dinners every time at 7 o'clock. I bet you that's bullshit. They don't have family dinner nights at 7. I bet you that's a lie. To make it seem everything is okay.
Marvel Studios, look at the screen widen. So there's the Baxter building. A lot of buildings. We're getting our little MCU map here. And I like the way it has a little bit of a World's Fair feel to it as well. The World's Fair, of course.
A lot of building. Yeah, because I live in New York City, downtown New York City. New York City has a lot of buildings, Grace. You live there, you would know. Okay. Pretty sure. Dysfunctional offending. Ben's always fighting with Johnny, and Reed always ignoring Sue. Yeah, Ben and Johnny always fight because Johnny always makes fun of him, right? And Sue, Sue and Reed are in love. It's just that Reed sometimes gets very, very buried in his work and tends to ignore at times, right? Right, like Reed always tends to be very buried in his work, into himself, and is very focused. It's kind of like Batman, who's always buried in his work.
Of course, synonymous, not just with Walt Disney, but they did a play on that.
The thing with Batman Batman know is when somebody's talking to him while he's working on something, you would think he's ignoring you, but Batman's actually listening.
Iron Man 2 and Howard Stark being a part of the Stark Expo, which also was modeled after the World's Fair. But there's the Baxter Building, I guess the Avengers Tower of this universe in the multiverse.
It does look like the Avengers Tower, the way it's shaped. It does. It does look like the Avengers Tower. It really does, actually. If you really take a look at it, it does look like the Avengers building, but it isn't. Remember, people thought rumor like before Fantastic Four was going to take place in a different universe. Remember, people thought, oh yeah, when there were rumors about Fantastic Four entry names, oh yeah, they're going to buy the Avengers Tower and to become the Baxter Building. Remember that? Remember that rumor? Remember that shit going down? Yeah, I remember that. I'll be right back. I gotta make some coffee. All right. While the kettle's getting hot, I'll continue talking. But yeah, I remember that people were like guessing. Oh my God, what's gonna happen to the Avengers Tower? Who's gonna buy the Avengers Tower? Oh, it's gonna be either Norman Osborn, Green Goblin, and Oscorp is gonna move in, or it's gonna be Reed Richards. It's gonna be the Fantastic Four. Nope, the Fantastic Four are in a different universe.
They got a little landing pad.
Of course.
All right. There's Herbie. We'll see who
Herb.
voices Herbie.
Herb.
Will Herbie, be like the comics, or I think, I suspect they maybe might do a little Rosie from the Jetsons as well here.
Yeah,
So
that's what it
Rosie's
is.
cooking up dinner, but
Yeah.
Ben's got.
Yeah, people thought Norman Osborn was gonna buy Stark Tower. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's the rumor. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, they thought he was gonna buy Stark Tower. Norman Osborn, Green Goblin.
Notes. So what do you think? Now, when I first saw him in the reaction, I was like, oh my God, he's so comics accurate. But then he spoke, and it didn't sound like the voice was coming out of his body.
It was.
It does.
Apparently, it might have been
I
Val.
know. He
Well,
might have.
I don't know if it was Val who bought the tower per se, but the organization, the agency she works for, probably bought the tower. Because I don't think Val has that kind of money to buy the tower. I don't think Val is a billionaire. You probably need to be a billionaire to buy that tower, man. It's probably the organization she works for. Right? Like the part of the whatever agency she is. They probably got control of the tower because she does not have the financials to buy that tower herself. It had to be the agency she worked for, whatever, right?
As well be practical because it looks kind of practical. Something about it just doesn't work. And still, they put a.
And did Tony Stark technically owns that tower or not? Because if not, wouldn't it go to like Pepper Potts because of the will? Wouldn't Pepper Potts be the one that have to sell it? You think Pepper Potts would be the one selling it to Val? She not knowing what she is, or whatever, where she is. She may not know what Val is.
happy face on that. Well, not a totally happy face. He's depressed, as you see later in this very teaser trailer.
Worse.
But I think it's quite horrific that this is what he would become and what he would have to live inside all the time. You know, that's one of the things I liked about the last Fantastic Four film. You know, the body horror of it.
Yeah, but he didn't look, he looked what he looked like. He looked like a fucking golem from a video game. He didn't look like the Thing. Here he actually looks like the fucking Thing. They made him too sci-fi in Fan Four Stick. Oh my god. Look at that. Look at that, the Fan Four Stick version. Ooh. And the Thing had no pants. The Thing had no pants either. And you gotta watch this show. This is a good show too. The Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
I know. I mean, look, like the third act of that movie was awful for sure. But I think like the Doom entrance was like incredible. Like parts of that movie I thought were very good.
Oh my god!
And I
Look,
mean,
that doesn't look
it's
like
hard to
Doom.
sell that this guy is not just like screaming inside all the time. When he kind of is, I guess. But it just doesn't feel like even his voice is coming out of here. So he's got cooking notes. They're playing into the bear.
The bear.
Right? And also Wanda and Vision had their own little kitchen discussion.
Grace. You put Wanda and Vision have her kitchen discussion. But you know how many fucking movies and TV shows have the exact same kind of scene like that? Where two people in the kitchen when somebody's cooking, they're talking to the other. It's very common. I mean, yeah, I know. It was terrible. Everything about that movie is terrible. You can't. There's not one good thing about that movie. I do
They're
like
like, you
here. Look at Vanessa.
rascals. You'll notice, of course, the hair is very different here. There are slight differences. Vanessa Kirby in particular gives it away.
Oh yeah, she does have longer hair. I think
the movie is clearly, you can now see, will have different. It's going to jump back and forth in time.
Yeah.
So they're all just sitting there. Herbie's like, "Why don't you all get off your butts and help me cook this dinner?" You think they'd at least go and do something else until dinner was ready?
Why can't she put on the sound? She's allowed to put on the sound,
I wonder what Herbie's thinking. Herbie didn't say anything, but I'd be like,
Herbie is like, who the fuck is this woman trying to critique this trailer? That's what Herbie's thinking. Come on.
I love this. So this is clearly Reed's lab, and he's got a super blackboard. And you know what? It reminds me a little bit of Oppenheimer. And that was perfect because I was like, oh my God, Oppenheimer was so Reed Richards.
Oppenheimer, so Reed Richards. Yeah, it's not like all smart scientists have, all physics, calculations. It's not like they all don't do, it's like not like all of them don't do it on chalkboards. All of them do it on chalkboards. physics, calculations, calculus. All very smart people do it on chalkboards. This is not just an Oppenheimer thing, man. It's been done before. It reminds you of Oppenheimer because it's the latest one, but this has been done. I've seen this in other stuff before. Okay? This is a very scientific, this is a scientific thing, man. Revisionist is a scientist. Oppenheimer is a scientist. What's Oppenheimer? Nuclear physicist? Basically, they're all scientists. They're not very. Oh my god! I'm just saying. Come on.
You know, even down to being a bit of a jerk. You know, and more. You know, so captivated by whether or not he can, he doesn't think about whether or not he should. Of course, you know.
And I gotta take a sip.
You know, speaking of Jurassic movies, that's a nice little crossover right there. But yeah, Oppenheimer is a perfect Reed Richards. And again, I almost wish they were doing a more realistic version of the character than this caricature that they seem to have decided to go with instead. But in this more serious, quiet moment,
it's more serious. What are you talking about? This is comics.
I think he feels the most like the character. So he's doing his equations. And here's
the thing. Most science people, scientific people like that work on those equations, they tend to be not very sociable. You know? They tend to be into the zone. The kind of people in the zone, they don't like to be disturbed. They're kind of like, I wouldn't say they have anxiety before. They're just maybe just really, really focused. Like let's continue.
a flashback to going into space back when everything was hunky-dory. Yeah. Maybe those suits look kind of flimsy. I think I might have figured out the problem, how they got bombarded with all those cosmic rays. Cosmic rays! That's a great restaurant to eat at Tomorrowland at Disney World. Okay.
Oh, shit.
So there they are in their fancy spaceship. Ooh, maybe we should have spent less time on the aesthetics and more on, again, protecting me from cosmic rays. So this is interesting.
Whatever.
First of all, they seem more like friends than like, I don't feel a lot of heat between these two characters. So, hey, Namor, come on in here, baby. I think there's an opening for you as well. But this also reminds me very much of a number of scenes in The Incredibles.
They seem like friends.
Between, Bob and Helen talking about, the dynamic and what they're dealing with. So he's like, it's different this time.
I mean, there's been a lot of shows and movies where couples, husband and wife or whatever, in the same bed, talking about problems, issues. It's a very common trope in movies and TV shows. Okay.
You weren't invisible. She doesn't seem to even be, she doesn't seem to be wearing her suit at all. I wonder what's going on here. I think she's instinctively turning invisible for the sparks. But does that mean, so there's an interesting question here, especially when how they're portraying how her powers work. So she's not Kitty Pryde, right? Like, let's get our nerd on. She's not Kitty Pryde.
No, she doesn't face through walls.
She can't turn.
No, she can't face
intangible.
She can't face through walls, of course.
She can only turn invisible. And so is she therefore bending light? But if she's only bending light, then does she also, remember, can create invisible force fields? So are those constructs out of light? And then she just becomes kind of a mix of Wanda and Spectrum from WandaVision. So
Yeah, I think she has. I think she has a hoss for Namor too, like Red Hawk.
I'm curious. I mean, over the years, she just started out turning invisible, and you were like, "What's with this 1960s power for a woman?" But over
What? What? Yeah, yeah, yeah. They made the suits after they got blasted by comet rays. They were worried to fought astronaut suits during the accident. And how do you know? Oh, yeah, exactly. Grace hates. Oh yeah, I can tell she hates it. She really does. I could tell. And she said she likes the Superman trailer too, better than this. But her whole Superman trailer, she was shitting on it too. Like, what the hell? She said, Grace, read on how Invisible Woman's power works, all right? Just go online and read how it works. That's all you gotta do, man. All you gotta do. Okay? How Sue Storm's power works. That's all you gotta do.
over the years, they've done a great job of showing how powerful she is because she's really a force field generator, and she can create, not only discs to fly on or slide on, but she can force fields. She can stop your heart by blocking your arteries with a little mini force field. She's her power.
It's funny because Sue was invisible because it was reflective of her personality, like the rest of Fantastic Four. Yeah, yeah. Because, like, oh, yeah, it's a good point because sometimes she does feel invisible to Reed Richards because Reed Richards tends to sometimes push her away, ignore her, so she feels like invisible to her. So it makes sense. Yeah. Oh yeah, they did say that in the trailer.
Is really invisible force fields and one that she can obviously deploy around her own body to make herself invisible. But I'm not quite getting what the power set is here. You
Relax, Grace. Johnny, relax, Grace. You'll be fine. You'll.
know, it's a little, the Incredibles, speaking of the Incredibles, that's obviously based on the Fantastic Four, even down to the power sets. And Violet is a take on the Invisible Woman, even down to Violet's ability to turn invisible. All right. So this, to me, I'm like, I don't know. This, I think they should have redone because I can tell they added her later because you can see that he doesn't even know what his hand's resting. They're like, put your hand there. We're going to add her in post.
I guess. Grace. Grace. She's turning invisible there. They did not add her in post. She's turning invisible there. Um, you can clearly see that. That's why she has a first. That's why he has her hand on her face. She's turning invisible there. She's pop. This is probably where her power her power's kicking in. Her invisibility power's kicking in because she's at the beginning stages of her powers kicking in, and she's not sure what's going on. He's not sure what's going on, and something went obviously wrong in the spaceship. They got the cosmic rays. When he got hit by the cosmic rays, that's when it gives him powers. This is a point of where it seems like something's going wrong, and she's turning invisible, and she's scared. You can see in the face. You can see in the face that she's scared that she's turning invisible. Okay. Okay, and he's concerned too. Okay. Grace, they did not add us in post, man. I'm telling you, they did not add us in post. I guarantee you that was not a post addition to this scene. Okay, because we all know what's like. If you really know a Fantastic Four fan, if you're really paying attention, you would know. You would know. You're gonna know that's actually her. Okay, like you're gonna know that's not added. Come on, come on. Oh my god. Dude. Dude. Grace, did you watch fucking Endgame? Did you watch fucking Endgame where everybody disappeared? Everybody disappeared? You think that's Infinity War? Not my bad. And Infinity War and Endgame because Thanos and his army, his invasion, they did get snapped. But did you come on? It's kind of like the same thing here, except she's her powers are kicking in right at the beginning, and she can't control. She doesn't know what's going on. She's scared. He's scared. He's concerned. Come on, Grace. You think this is added in post scene?
All right, so Ben Grimm, as you can see that he doesn't even know what his hand's resting. They're like, put your hand there. We're going to add her in post.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but
Tell they added her later.
look.
You can see that he doesn't even know what his hand's
Look what
resting.
happens
They're like,
here.
put your hand there. We're going to add her in post.
But it looks like she came back too. Right? I don't know. Like, oh my god, Malice. I don't know what I'm watching with her. Like, I don't. No, you can see her. I don't know what she's seeing. Like, her eyes. Clearly, a lot of people see differently here. She has like her.
All right, so Ben Grimm, he's in an alleyway. Oh, also, you know what reminds me also a little bit of Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, which also had a very cold feel to it as well, which I think might have hurt it with general audiences.
You got Steven Spielberg's um the scene alleyway from his film. You compare it to this, dude. Grace, that alleyway that Ben is walking in looks more like the alleyway when Bruce Wayne walking with his kids, when it was his parents, like we got murdered. You compare, oh my god, look at how dark that alleyway. And you try to compare alleyways to alleyways. That's not a fucking alleyway, okay? And from West Side Story, that's not an alleyway, by the way. If you're gonna compare alley to alleyway, if you're gonna compare a scene with a movie to a movie with an alleyway, make sure the movie you're comparing with or both has an alleyway in it. Make sure both of them have an alleyway. Don't use one that has it and has no alleyway, because that's just that scene, that West Side Story picture down below. That's not a fucking alleyway. That's not a fucking street. Walking down the street like a gang. And by the way, this alleyway looks more like someone's about to get mugged. Like Batman, or like when if Bruce Wayne's parents walked into the alleyway, it looks like they're gonna get mugged and murdered. Okay, like why, why do you do this? Why do you pick such stupid examples to try to make a comparison when they don't make sense at all? Like only one person is like that, like this, because there's no way 99.9% of the world will make it up this comparison. She's the only one. I swear. Lowest 60s. Yeah, that's true.
So there he is. I love this. It reminded me that back in the day, before we all carried a little TV in our pockets, if you wanted to see what was going on with breaking news, you had to find a local electronics.
Little TVs in our pockets. I don't know about you. Oh, they did have little TVs. There were little TVs. I never had a little TV in my life, so whatever.
Store and look in the window. So they're showing some old footage, and he's like, he's the best pilot in the world, and he says, the handsomest, and then he's like, not anymore.
Yeah, that's Ben. That's Ben.
That's sad. I really felt that. But still well dressed. Who's making these clothes? Okay.
Who's making these clothes? I don't know. The costume designer? What the fuck?
So I I gotta tell you, I love Joseph Quinn. I think he's a wonderful actor, but he's horribly miscast as Johnny Storm.
Why? Why is
We
that?
all agree that it should have been Austin Butler or any.
We all agree it should be Austin Butler. Here we go. We. Stop with the we shit. Stop with that. I hate when people speak for other people like this. We. Are you part of a? Are you part of? Are you part of an organization, a group that has people in it? You take votes, and the winner and whoever wins the votes, whoever many votes this poll gets, that determines the direction, the casting choices. Like like Austin Butler doesn't even look. No, he doesn't look like Johnny Storm either. But fuck with the we shit, man. Stop with it. The royal we. I like TJ. I see it all the time on X, right? Oh, we are not watching. Oh, we are watching, and people are like, "We? Who's we?" What you like? They're assuming everybody's in agreement. Everybody's in agreement. Oh my god. Who oh my god. Do I have that Uncle Phil who's Hey guys. Wait, I have a present for you guys. Okay. Just give me a minute. You're gonna love. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this, guys. I hope I don't get in trouble for it, but it's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. Grace, go to your she doesn't play video games, buddy. She doesn't know anything about video games, so I don't think she'll play the Switch.
We? We. We.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, I gotta bring her back. I'm sorry. It's just fucking ridiculous. What do you?
Anybody else?
You know what? Every time I do a Grace Randolph video, I'm gonna make sure that clip is. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna use that clip when she always mentions we. I'll make sure I'll use that clip. It's gonna be a new gag of mine for this for some streams on Grace.
Supposed to be a rock star. He's supposed to be a heartthrob, and I don't think that's at all it's just the wrong casting.
Oh, believe me, a lot of girls like Joseph Quinn, man. Believe me.
So, but I have to say, well, he's poorly cast, By the way, everybody's coming back inside. They're like, oh no, they're rushing back in off the veranda. But I gotta say, the visual effects on him flying look
It
pretty
looks
damn
cool.
good. Those look excellent, right out of the comics. Flame on.
What happens if he flies during a thunderstorm? Like I always wondered, Human Torch, if he's flying there through a thunderstorm and where it's raining like crazy, does it put out the fire? Does Human Torch get like dry? Does he dry up?
For sure, my friend. I love that. So he looks good. He looks very good in that regard. So I like the ponytail on Vanessa Kirby. I gotta say, I don't think her hair looks great in this trailer. I'm surprised. I'm like, how did you get that wrong? Some of you pointed out.
Wow, she look like it. That's Vanessa Kirby's hairstyle in every film that she's been in, though. Vanessa Kirby had the same hair. Every movie that I see Vanessa Kirby in, she has a hair. He dries up. Okay, he has the same hairstyle. She has a hairstyle. Okay, it's always been short. Short, like not long but short. Everything that I've seen her in, she's always had hair like that. Here's my buddy Blinded. It's good to see Blinded.
What's up? I'm kind of tired, I'm not gonna lie.
Ah, I
But I
understand.
promised you I would come on, so yeah, I was just working on some stuff. Um, I saw this a couple days ago. It's just, as usual, stupid. Just like exposing. I feel like people have exposed themselves with Fantastic Four. People like Grace, they're like, oh yeah, why didn't they do this and that? And then in a roundabout way, they go, I don't even like Galactus. I don't even like this. And you're like, wait a minute. You are a supposed Fantastic Four fan, and you're like, Galactus is kind of goofy and silly. It's just like, can anybody take you serious? Like seriously. Like you're supposed to be a fan of this stuff, and then you're like, yeah, the most prominent,
How
well-known villain is
how can
goofy, silly. It's
how
just
can she say that
stupid.
about Galactus after what we got 20 years ago
I don't,
for the
because she
text?
doesn't know anything about Galactus. That's why she's saying that. She knows absolutely nothing. Her like this whole breakdown is just her basically saying, "Hey guys, I have no clue about the Fantastic Four, and I don't even know what I want." And she's like, "Oh, I like the Superman trailer more." While she was completely shitting on the Superman
Yeah,
trailer.
we did that. We
Yeah, which makes no. So it's like if the Superman trailer she was constantly nitpicking it, and now she's like, "Oh, this wasn't even a good trailer," and you're like, "What?" Like that's why I'm like just baffled. I'm like, all the takes about this trailer, it's like, "Oh, the thing he doesn't look." Like the 2005 movie that everybody 10 years ago was saying that it wasn't good, which by the way, I do like that
15
movie,
movie, you
but
mean? That oh yeah,
no, I'm talking about the 2005 movie where
from
people are
20 years
talking.
ago.
Yeah, people are like using that Michael, what's his name? Michael Chiklis.
Chickless.
Yeah, they're using his thing and they're like, oh, this one was better. I'm not sure if you've seen posts like that, but I'm like, man, like people are
No,
really are fucking delusional.
that
Like they don't know what they want. It's like,
that thing was fine for that time period. For that time in the film industry, the 2000s.
yeah, I think it's fine. Like it's always been
It,
fine, but I just find it ironic that people all of a sudden now are like, "Oh, why couldn't we get a Fantastic Four like the 2005 movie?" And you're like, "Didn't you guys say that you didn't even like the
yeah, you
2005
shouldn't.
movie?" Collectively, people are like, "Oh, we want the Fantastic Four in the MCU." Now the Fantastic Four comes to the MCU.
2005 movie gets undeserved hate.
Yeah, it did, and then now all of a sudden now people are
They're
saying
loving, yeah.
they love it and all this shit like that. So it's like it's just revisionist history.
It's yeah. Like I always liked that movie. I mean, look,
Yeah,
is that
I
the
did too,
best?
but people admitted that they didn't like it. They wanted the MCU version. So all of a sudden
Here's the
now,
thing. Here's the thing.
it's
If
stupid.
you don't like this trailer, this movie, you don't have to like the 2005 movie either. You can hate both of them.
Yeah, well, you can have your opinion. I just think it's ironic. I just really think it's ironic. And Grace here sitting up and down talking about what the character should be, and you're like, you don't even know the fucking characters. Like,
No.
I've seen so many videos criticizing all these different aspects of the movie, and it's like, but yet you can't even mention what do you expect from the Fantastic Four. All the Fantastic Four comics have been pretty much uh, a big like homage to Jack Kirby. Like the Fantastic Four, like I just don't get it. I really do not understand the energy with the criticism for this. It's almost like the movie is just fine, and so people have to find shit that doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, the Thing's voice doesn't sound like the Thing, and it's like,
That's my criticism.
yeah,
But
but I mean, that's the thing is the Thing in all these different cartoons and the live actions that versions that
it's
we've
just,
gotten, he had a deep voice, but to be honest, he's not really supposed to have like a different voice.
I think
Right?
it's
It's like this, he's still the same person. It's just that his appearance is completely different. So I'm not even really bothered by the voice. I just think people are kind of like, it's like, oh, here's a comic accurate thing with the eyebrow or the unibrow. Here's a great actor playing him that has a ton of range and all this stuff, and then people are still
if
complaining.
look, Blade Trinity was a bad movie, but it was. But if like I don't like Blade Trinity, but if anybody says Electro was good, then you're dumb.
Yeah, people, it's just
That
stupid.
Electra is like okay, Catwoman is the Madame Reb of the 2000s. Electra
Hmm.
is close to that too. I gotta go bathroom real quick, Brian. Continue to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what else to say because it's like most of well, let me look at the comments. What people are saying. It says nostalgia for the early 2000 superhero movies is starting to hit the internet. True, very true. I've seen some people even try to say Elektra and Blade Trinity were not that bad. Okay, that's straight delusional, right? Like those movies were pan. And you know what's funny too, right? People were shitting on the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. They're like, "Oh, the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie was shit." And even though people years ago was like, "Hey, you should watch the director's cut. It's a little bit better. It's not the greatest thing in the world." But now all of a sudden people are like, "Oh yeah, Ben Affleck as Daredevil. We miss Ben Affleck as Daredevil." What? All of a sudden now, this is what I'm talking about. Like every like couple of years, there's like revisionist history, right? It happened with the Snyderverse, right? Everybody pretty much panned Batman vs Superman in 2016. Then 5 years later, all of a sudden people are like, "Oh, I love the Snyderverse and I like Batman vs Superman and all this shit." And you're like, "Where did this fucking come from?" Like I don't understand. Like I'm not saying you can't like this stuff, but to act like, oh, all of a sudden, all these people on the internet come out and start saying, "Oh, actually, uh, this bad movie everybody panned years ago is actually a good movie." All of a sudden, and all the criticisms that
You guys are
people
working.
had, all of a sudden, completely disappear. And also notice too, it's never like, "Oh, this movie is like." Overhated or anything like that. They always bring up these old movies in comparison to new movies. It's like, oh, all of a sudden now we have to compare the 2005 Fantastic Four to this, even though years and years, 20 years, people were saying that wasn't the Fantastic Four. People are still even saying they fucked up Galactus, and now there's people saying, "Oh well, actually, it wasn't that bad," and blah 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 blah. It's like, what the fuck? Oh my God, like it's actually it's fucking annoying. It really is annoying.
I don't
This
even
is
think
why I
I've gone to
ignore
Galactus Park.
some of these people. Like, oh my God. For
particularly in
real,
the
like, good
1960s
Lord.
when like hair was a religion. But she looks good in a ponytail, and I think I would have advised them just to have her in a ponytail all the time.
Grace, you're in a different universe. It's 1960s, but have you looked at the fucking kind of world they live in? It doesn't necessarily have to match our 1960s. That's the point.
I mean, I also think she's okay. First off, one in this, we haven't really seen a ton of Sue Storm from the trailer. I mean, like, and based on what we've got, this is why I'm like, the people. I feel like when they watch a trailer, this is another thing too. I
Make a big deal
find
about ponytail.
really weird, right? Hold on, wait. This is like a complete other side note that I want to bring up.
Yeah.
people were saying this trailer, and I believe Grace even says this. She says, "Oh, the trailer didn't reveal much." Right? Oh, they didn't really show a lot of stuff in the trailer, right? They
This
didn't
is the
show
first
us Reed
trailer.
Richards. Okay, but do you remember when they show us the entire movie? What does everybody say? Oh, the trailer showed us the entire movie. Why did they do
I,
that? So all of a sudden now they do a teaser trailer. They don't give us a lot of story elements. We know Galactus is showing up. We don't know what this version of Galactus is going to be like, right? But it's like all of a sudden now it's like, oh, they didn't show us enough. It's like this is what I'm saying. Like people, it's like you can
I never,
never actually win. You
never
can
be
never
happy.
actually win. People's criticism is just, oh, like they didn't give us enough. And then when they give you the entire fucking movie in a trailer, it's, oh, they showed us the entire movie. It's like, this is why it's like you can't listen to some of these people. You really can't. Because it's like they don't fucking know what they're even criticizing.
And Grace, why are you making a big deal about Vanessa Kirby having a ponytail in this scene? Vanessa Kirby always had the hair. Everything I seen her has the same hairstyle. Like, who cares, Grace? Who cares about if she has a ponytail? You don't think people in the '60s had ponytails? Women in the '60s had ponytails? They did.
I mean, it's kind of funny because I could have sworn this same look that's on screen.
Yeah.
What's her name? That was what's her name? She got murdered. You know, she got murdered. What's her name?
Sharon
From
Tate.
this, yeah,
The
she
Time
kind of
Master.
had a look like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, again, I just feel like Grace is kind of just, again, she's like, oh, I gotta come in here and criticize the hair, and because the hair doesn't look good, the trailer doesn't look good. What? It's like, holy shit, man.
Sue Storm always had short hair.
Well, she has all different types of hairdos in the comics. Most of the time, it's kind of the same,
Yeah.
right? But if you're going from different artists and stuff, again, I know what she's talking about, but it's like, again,
It's
to
not a big
harp
deal.
on this, yeah, to really harp on this, it's like, come on.
That's the problem with Grace. She nitpicks on things that are not a big deal.
No, yeah.
Like, nobody cares.
Like how she was talking about how Superman's
Like, she's the
hair
only
looks
person that does
fucking
that.
weird in the wind, and you're like,
She's
what
clearly,
else?
you
How
know,
is it supposed to look like?
Going to be a focal point in the film, and we'll see how that goes over with, you know, will women want to see this movie, and how will men feel about it, especially because once again they didn't go the cheesecake route. You know, they
Grace, don't worry. Men will see this film. There's some women will see this film, but it'll still be men-dominated audience. Okay. It's viewership rise on social media has done great, amazingly great. One of the highest from Marvel's. Marvel, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about Marvel in general.
Mhm.
Viewership on social media. I think this movie is gonna do fine. Okay. Don't worry about the demographics, man. If this movie makes $1 billion, Marvel's not gonna be like, "Oh my god, we could have made more if more females came to see it." You know, I don't think Marvel's gonna care.
Yeah, I don't think they care.
they, you know, Margot Robbie have been rumored to be in talks.
Who said that? Margot. Everybody is making up those rumors about for Fantastic Four is gonna be cast in Fantastic Four. It's full shit. Okay. A lot of it's full shit. They had no idea, no clue. Okay.
You know, but you know, I think they ultimately ended up. Although a lot of people in the chat were very impressed with her outfit for the interview this morning.
The thing is, they never needed to do this thing.
But you know, I think she styled herself in a more cheesecake way, and maybe I don't know. I think maybe that.
I've seen people say that they don't like the '60s style of the movie.
Who say they don't like 60 styles of the movie we're comparing it. Yeah, I did see that. I see it all of a sudden now, right? I mean, I like Marvel Rivals. I think Marvel Rivals is helping Fantastic Four, but it's like all of a sudden now people are like, why couldn't it be like Marvel Rivals? And you're like,
Because
what?
because it's a video game, also it's a film, and also Marvel
Like,
Rivals is supposed to be based on the comics, isn't it? How they
well,
design them
yeah,
as
it's
well.
based on the comics, but it's also highly stylized. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
uh, I don't know. I seen that and I was just like, you just like people again. It's like, by the way, Marvel Rivals hasn't even been out for more than fucking 3 months.
2 months
And
this
and
year.
people all of a sudden are like,
2 months now.
this is actually what we wanted. So it's like, oh wait, so if there was no Marvel Rivals, you guys wouldn't have a fucking rule of thumb because again, you guys don't read Fantastic Four comics. You don't like the Fantastic Four. This is becoming fucking real evident. Just look through the comment section of this same video, and you'll see a
Hey,
ton of
hey,
people saying weird kind of shit where you're like, wait a minute,
Robert,
you say you're a fan, but you don't know basic shit.
Robert
Okay,
Patterson,
okay.
You know what? Robert Patterson's Batman should be the Arkham Batman. He should look like the Arkham Batman. You know, he should look like that buff and all that shit. He should look like that.
Would have benefited the character that she's playing. So she's like, well, she looks pretty good there. She's like, oh, our powers mimic who we are. Although I wish she just said Johnny was a hothead. I know it's on the nose, but come on. There he is. Woohoo. Woo. So here, this is pretty great. Again, though, I'm like, man, my gosh.
The thing is, that's not a good. I never noticed this, but this part of this scene does not look good. Her face does not look good. Looks a little
This
scrambled.
part
The face looks a little scrambled. Doesn't even look like Vanessa Kirby.
scrambled? What do you mean?
Look, it doesn't even look like her face structure looks a little different. Then
My God, who approved this look? Okay, and also that belt. There's no way that actually does anything.
my
This
God.
Halloween versions of this costume are going to be super easy. So you can see the Fantastic car there in the background. This is so Incredibles. It's so the Incredibles.
so the Incredibles. Who do you think inspired the Incredibles?
But yeah, like, but again, it's like, oh, she always does that. Oh well, The Incredibles is like the first thing to come to the market, even so therefore it's like in public consciousness or whatever the fucking argument that she has, where it's like people will reference what they know instead of like what came first, whatever it may be. But it's like, okay, the Incredibles were inspired by the Fantastic Four. And in fact, give me 1 second here, because
The
then I
Fantastic
want to
Four
see something.
was considered the first family of Marvel, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, well, okay, I was thinking the Incredibles and the first Fantastic Four movie came out the same year, but no, Incredibles came out 2004, and then the Fantastic Four movie came out in 2005. But yeah,
yeah, but the Incredibles is based off of Fantastic Four, based off superheroes, and like, Grace, come on,
hold
you
on,
know,
wait. What is Sideways saying here? When I was
I
on
thought when
IG, I saw a new Smurf, and there was a lot of Diddy
that
comments. So
Smurf I saw the trailer. That movie is gonna flop. It looks so bad. Oh, because
oh man,
Rihanna's in it doing the voice. I'm sorry, but Rihanna should not do movies. I don't care.
flop
So she's going to throw
territory.
up a force field. Here it comes. Whee! All right.
That's cool.
So I'm sure Vanessa Kirby doesn't want to totally never be on screen. It's a little bit like the Cyclops problem. They're like, but your power covers your eyes. And he's like, but yet my power covers my eyes.
What? Is she talking about never being on
I have
screen?
I have no fucking clue
And,
what Grace is talking about here.
and Cyclops got plenty of screen time. What's she talking about?
Is Invisible Woman always invisible? Come on, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. It's like, what are you talking about? This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Here's the thing.
Oh yeah. Listen, I don't mind her, but like her content is just here's the thing, like the criticism that she has been levying against like this movie, Spider-Man, the Batman universe, it just doesn't make any sense. It's just like, okay, you really didn't expect this trailer. Hold on, let me reword that. You were not impressed by the trailer, and instead of saying, "Hey, it's not what I want," it's like you have to look and find fucking things to complain about. Where it's like, oh yeah, why does the fucking costumes look like this? Doesn't make any sense. Mind you, again, I keep bringing this up because it's really funny, right? Remember, okay, I'm always going to use Twitter because Twitter is the one that all these weird fucking takes come from, right?
Mostly, yeah.
Remember when people were complaining how the MCU suits were over designed? That they have all these patterns and textures, and
This is
what's the
not.
point of
Yeah,
it?
I know your
Yeah,
point.
and there's even this meme where someone is like, the MCU costumes versus the comic outfits. And so, okay, so when they do the comic outfits in terms of the simplicity of it in this trailer, now it's why doesn't it look like the over stylized version in Marvel Rivals? So this is why I say again, ignore everything. Ignore everything that people say, right? Have your own opinion because when all these mass groups of people go on Twitter or they come on YouTube and then they have opinion and then they sit down and they try to convince you that they're making a coherent argument when they're not. They're not making a fucking coherent argument. And then they sit there and then they get upset. It's like someone had a comment. I think I saved this comment. It was on Reddit. It was something like, hold on, let me go find it. Let me go find it because it was funny.
Here's. Yeah, video games is a separate thing.
Okay,
Okay.
it wasn't on Reddit. It was on Twitter. But this is what the person says. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
You're good.
good. So it says people will criticize everything, then ask themselves why nothing is good anymore.
Oh yeah.
This is accurate as fuck. Accurate as fuck. Where people just go like nitpicking and they just go so fucking like like fucking just break down every single fucking atom in something and go just criticize the living fuck out of it and then they go why is that why can't we get something good, why can't we get something good? And it's like, yeah, because you sit all of your time criticizing shit, you never even articulate what you actually like, right? What did you actually expect from a Fantastic Four trailer? They don't say anything. They go Pedro Pascal is miscast. Why? They're like, oh, he's not Reed Richards, and you're like, why isn't he Reed Richards? We barely even seen him,
Yeah, give a reason.
right?
Yeah, give
Oh, what's the
reason.
reason? Oh, because he doesn't have a beard. That's the reason.
Um,
That's your reason
there's
why Pedro Pascal is miscast because
um,
he doesn't have a beard.
the other the 2005 version didn't have a beard,
It's just so
right?
stupid. It's
The original,
insanely stupid. And it's like,
and he
and then
doesn't
when they,
always have a beard.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's
John Krasinski, John
in
Krasinski
Jester
doesn't have a
Bell's
beard,
video,
right?
she literally brings up this actor, which he's a good actor, but she's like, "Oh, I would have taken this actor even though he's
Oh, he does.
Indian. I would have taken this actor, right? I actually don't know the actor's nationality, but
Oh, I know.
he's not white, right? So it's like he's there. She's like, "Oh, I would have taken this actor." And it's like he looks like Reed Richards. He's got the beard and everything. And you're like, is that what makes fucking Reed Richards a fucking beard? And then when it's like, okay, can you articulate what is Reed Richards' personality? What is this character like? Crickets. Oh, you want to know why? Because they don't read Fantastic Four comics. The Fantastic Four haven't even really been relevant for quite some time, and because of Marvel's stupid bullshit of sidelining them because they were owned by another company. And because of that, there was like 10 years where after Secret Wars, the 2015 Secret Wars, they pretty much were gone. Like they were on different teams and stuff. So like in public consciousness, people just have like completely glossed over the history and the importance of Fantastic Four in the Marvel universe, where now you have these delusional takes from people where they're criticizing shit and they don't even know what the fuck they're criticizing. It's like, what do you actually want? It's like they finally have, first off, one, I've said this. I said that I like the trailer because it feels like we're finally getting a lot of like an actual homage to Jack Kirby style, right? I don't see any of that fucking mention in all these people's criticism. Grace doesn't bring it up.
Yeah.
Grace doesn't bring it up at all. She's just like, oh yeah, it's the 60s style, the original style. And you're like, and then when she says, oh, Galactus is goofy, and you're like,
That's cool.
Galactus is like one of the most, first off, he's the most iconic Marvel villain. On top of that, too, he's probably the most like important character that Jack Kirby created in terms of it represents all the ideas that Jack Kirby had always wanted to write about, or things that he always thought about, things that he put into his art, right? About gods and mythology, and it's all this like existential mind-bending shit, right? And again, that's completely lost on Grace because she doesn't know shit about the fucking character. She's just like, he's goofy. He's fucking goofy.
Eyes, and therefore you can't connect to my character. And so she's like, am I going to be off screen every time I use my powers? And they're like, no, we'll put a
Visible Woman has that's great. That's not just invisible.
prism rainbow effect around you. Pollyanna fans unite. But I gotta tell you,
Pollyanna fans, nobody in your chat, nobody in your group knows who that is. Sorry, Grace. Like,
Just
sorry.
saying shit, man.
I appreciate Hollywood from the movies from the 50s, 60s, 70s, but her audience is mostly young. Nobody knows who she's talking about. Let's be honest.
No, yeah, and after this video, look at the comment section, because the comment section is.
I seen it. I seen
the
comments.
power set to me. The comics had gone with like a blue glow to show the invisible stuff, the invisible force fields. And I think we've all kind of just gotten used to that. So this, I guess, maybe we'll get used to this as well. But she's not, is she bending light? But if she's just bending light, then she's not creating force fields. So that I get.
Okay, so I just want to say something, right? Because it's like, she's not bending light. Okay, hold on. Give me a second here.
Correct, Sam. Yep.
Okay. Hold on. Give me a second here. Okay, so do you guys want to know some science here? Or yeah, this is technically science.
Science.
You want to know? You want to know? Some, this is like the science of photography. Let's just put it that way. Do you want to know what exactly is going on there, where they got this like rainbow effect? Do you know what that's called? Do you know what that's called? Does anybody in the chat know what that's called? Because if you don't, I will read you the definition of it, and you tell me. Does it sound like this is exactly what she's trying to say? Is this bending light? Okay, so what is going on here is called chromatic aberration or chromatic distortion. Okay, that's when you see that kind of rainbow effect, the splitting of the colors. So the reason why, so here's what it, chromatic aberration occurs when the lens, right, in this case the camera lens, can't focus all the wavelengths of light to the same point. Do you see what I'm talking about? Do you see what I'm talking about? Where it's like she says shit and you're like, this doesn't make any sense, blah blah blah. And I was just talking about that yesterday, where people go, hey, this doesn't make sense, let me either Google it. What happened to that? I don't know something, I'm just gonna Google it. But instead people go, I don't know this, but I'm gonna make a fucking statement and say it doesn't even make any sense, even though I don't know fucking what I'm talking about. You're like, why do people just say? Just say.
Search it up.
If you're like, hey, I'm not sure or whatever, right? It's like, okay, we don't know everything, right? But it's like, this is what I'm talking about. It's like, here she is saying she doesn't know something, then she makes a fucking she's like, well, that doesn't fucking make any sense. The same thing I don't even know anything about.
Yeah. That's his problem.
And this is why I get fucking ranting about fucking science. Yeah, who cares about science? She's just trying to talk crap. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. And listen, I'm not saying she needs to know this, right? I'm not saying that, right? I'm saying we just saw what she did. She, instead of going, hey, what is that even effect? Because it's an effect. right? A chromatic aberration is an effect, right,
Yes.
on an image, right? And in my opinion, yeah, it actually kind of makes more sense if when you in at least in live action that her powers would have the chromatic aberration effect to it, because again, it's splitting light, right? And so she's distorting it. That makes fucking perfect sense, right? So it's like, but it, anyway, you guys get the point. You guys get the point.
Mm-hmm.
Depower her if she just bends light and makes things invisible. I mean, I guess, again, think Violet from The Incredibles. So let's see. They got to really sell us on these power sets. As everyone pointed out, the only one they didn't show us was Reed Richards. So are they saving that, or are they still working on making it look good? This is not a great shot. Again, I'm a little frustrated because I know I watch The Crown. Vanessa Kirby can look incredible, but unfortunately she seems to have the styling that she had from the Mission Impossible movies, where she does not look as good.
Grace.
She does not look as good. You know, those movies, the movies that she was in, Fallout was successful, but okay, yeah.
Grace. You're right. The Crown, she had different hair color, and she's different costume. Look at that. She has to look good in that. Look at that in The Crown. Look at that. She's playing royalty. Grace, stop that. Stop. I think you're blaming the actor. You're kind of blaming the actor for that. That sounds like you're blaming the actor for not
Sorry.
looking good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the stylist, the hairstylist, the costume, like all of that stuff. I mean, that's what. I mean, I guess she is in part talking about that, but it's like again, it's like she's like, oh, I'm so frustrated by this shot, right? And you're like, okay, can we at least get some articulation? Can we get some reasoning behind why this shot isn't, or why you don't like this shot? She's like, okay, it's the styling, right? But it's like, this is her using her powers. She also has that blown out effect. And when you see it in motion too, it's like, this is another thing too someone was saying. I think this is a great point, right? Where it's like all of a sudden now, people are taking like individual stills from movies and they're like criticizing it. And sometimes, yeah, I think it's like when you look at a composition, if the composition is bad, yeah, that's something to criticize, right? Or if the CGI is bad, the lighting is bad, whatever it may be, right? But in a lot of cases, people take things where it's like the actors are making an expression in motion, and so they're going to look goofy when you freeze frame, just like how we do it here with Grace, right? Where it's like we hit the pause button and then she's making some weird fucking face, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like all of a sudden now
Candace
people are
is the best
using that as an example of why the shot looks bad, and now why the movie is bad, because you took a shot out of context where the actor was moving and they look ridiculous.
One bad shot is going to derail the movie. According to Grace.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like really, really ridiculous.
It is.
It's like it's your only female character. It's the 1960s. She's got to give mother. You got to get it right. So, there's Johnny Storm. He's just misdressed. He's just not, I'm sorry. You know, he doesn't even dress like a heartthrob. You know? He dresses like a country club.
So exposed. Exposed. Okay, so this is why I was saying people keep going back to the Fantastic Four 2005 movie, right? Because they keep thinking Johnny Storm is like a Chris Evans kind of like frat guy that all the women love him, right? Mm-hmm. In the comics, Johnny was a teenager. He was a kid.
Yeah, he was.
He was very naive. He was very kind of ignorant, like what you would expect of a teenager, right? And so the thing is, he wasn't supposed to be like, oh, everybody's fawning after him like the Chris Evans version, right? So, I mean, later on, they would do stuff like that, but it's like, that wasn't really part of the character. The part of the character was that he is a teenager who's a bit of a hothead, and he likes pissing off Ben Grimm, and, right, he kind of, like, makes fun of Ben Grimm, right? And Ben Grimm is insecure about his looks, right? Yeah. So And then that plays into his powers, right? So it's like, again, all the characters' powers are reflective of their personalities, right? So again, it's like she's like, oh, he's miscast, right? Where it's like they're going for a more classic Johnny Storm than the version that most people think of, which is the Chris Evans version, right? And think about it too. When they recast him again, they went with Michael B. Jordan, who again is like a similar to Chris Evans. So it's like that has been like the public perception, but it's like if you knew the original intention of Johnny Storm, that was not the case.
Except Sue Storm was adopted. That
Yeah,
version.
that was adopted. Well, she was adopted. I forgot. Yeah, because his dad is black.
She was white, and and the father was Huh.
Guy. But that's not Johnny Storm. I guess it is now. All right, so
I guess it is now.
Galactus. Did he just burp? Yeah. All right, so those of you who don't know, Galactus eats planets.
Yeah, look,
So
comic book history says Johnny Storm was the OG Bart Simpson. Yeah, that's a good comparison. He's like the mischievous rebel kid, right? Like,
Yeah.
And then she's going to be like, oh, because I heard her say this before. She's like, how is he going to be interacting with Spider-Man? It's like,
the thing is, she's always known as Sue Storm's younger brother. She's like, their sister and brother, but she's always kind of like a mother figure to him too. You know?
Yeah, because he's so, again, he's immature, he's childish.
He acts more just like she acts more just like a big sister to him. Like
right. So again, it's like Grace has a blind spot here, and she's like blaming that on the creative decisions without knowing why they made that decision. Right? It's like, I think it's time for Grace to kind of brush up on those Fantastic Four books, read some wiki pages, do something, because God fucking damn, right? It's like she's not. It's like, it's one thing where you're like, hey, I don't know anything about the Fantastic Four. I only know the previous movies. But she's sitting here going like, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Right? I'm taking all these stills from the comic books and criticizing what was in the comic, or criticizing the movie and comparing it in the comics. You don't know the comics.
She's a hypocrite, because every time when we talk about, except for the latest one, Supergirl, you know what? This doesn't happen to Supergirl woman tomorrow. It's not common accurate. And then she's okay with this not being common accurate. Like,
look, Sam is saying the same thing. Yes, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Most people, that was their introduction to the Fantastic Four when I was a kid, right? My dad gave me Fantastic Four comics. He took me to the movie. That's why I like Fantastic Four, right? That was really more, that and Spider-Man, but Fantastic Four and Spider-Man was my introduction to Marvel. Yeah. So it's like Fantastic Four, everybody says they are, by the way, sorry because I'm going all over the place. If you go to the Fantastic Four trailer on Marvel's channel, read the comments. And you will notice something in those comments, that a lot of the top comments are people who are significantly older, saying how much they are looking forward to this movie because they read Fantastic Four as a kid. Right? There's one guy I think he has the most upvoted comment, saying he was going to bring his father to Fantastic Four, and he's a 50-year-old guy. Right? So that's what I'm saying. That should tell you where it's like, I really do think that even though the Fantastic Four, they obviously have been around, but it's like there was a period of time where they weren't. Everybody was talking about the Avengers. People were even talking about Spider-Man, even when Marvel didn't have the rights to him. They weren't making the the Sony how do I explain the relationship between Marvel and Sony, right? When we got Tom Holland and stuff, right? So it's like Marvel was never going to ice Spider-Man, but they iced X-Men, they iced Fantastic Four, and yeah, they were still there. But if you notice, like for merchandise, for posters, for all different types of stuff, they removed X-Men and Fantastic Four. Yeah. So a lot of people really have more. Like Grace, I feel like Grace has more of an attachment to the characters that are in the MCU, the larger MCU, right? Not the versions from the comics, right? And she always likes to pretend that she is this like, oh, I did my research and blah blah blah. Half the time she's gotten her research wrong. And then she never says, "Hey, I made a mistake. Hey, actually this wasn't true," or "Hey, I was wrong here."
She never does
Instead,
that.
she doubles down. She tells everybody we've seen this before. She tells her comment section they're
Yep.
all wrong. They don't know what she's talking
Yep.
about. So, and then when she's on Twitter too, right? She's blocking people. She's getting upset. People, oh, you guys don't know the industry. There's people from the industry telling her stuff. Then she's like, oh, I don't like that person because blah blah blah. They talk shit about me, right? So it's like I'm telling you, man, this is why people don't like Grace Randolph. It's like you tell her something, and then she's like, she's gonna correct you. Then it turns out she's wrong, and then she gets fucking mad. That's why she doesn't like James Gunn, because James Gunn called her out, and now she's fucking pissed. She's like, oh, he's attacking me. He's attacking you. He's attacking you. Is he making thousands of videos on you? Is he making thousands of tweets
tweeting
about
you
you?
every day?
Like, oh my god, like,
Yeah, she plays the victim card. She does that.
oh my god, it's so annoying.
She does play that card. She does play like the victim card, you know? She does embarrass. I mean, she does more research than Campia because she does actually put up some.
Yeah, but Campia doesn't sit there and pretend like,
Yeah.
oh, I did my research and then tell you something that was totally wrong.
Yeah,
And
because Campia is tolerable. Like you could tolerate his stuff because Campia doesn't do the research like Grace because it doesn't go analytic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Campia doesn't. First of all, Campia doesn't spend time on social media going war with people.
no, because he has a life.
Yeah, I mean he has a wife, right? So he has a wife and a life, And Campia is not like you could disagree with Campia and he could say some stupid stuff and whatever, but Campia is just he just doesn't play the victim. And Campia will if he gets something wrong, he'll correct himself.
Mhm.
If somebody does correct him, he'll say, "Yeah, you're right." Grace doesn't do that.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
That joke comes from. But I always thought Galactus was a ridiculous character, even as a comic book fan, and so I think Galactus is going to be an incredibly hard sell to general audiences. Comic book fans will be like, yes, that's exactly what good
General audiences. That's why this trailer got one of the highest Marvel trailers. But yeah.
Can we play this back for everybody to hear?
Yeah.
Can we play this back?
Okay.
from. But I've always thought Galactus was a ridiculous character, even as a comic book fan, and so I think Galactus is going to be an incredibly hard sell.
Okay, so when Grace likes to always do this thing where she goes, these certain people who have an opinion, they're in the minority, they're not the general consensus, right? Grace, your opinion is the minority. Most comic book fans, like you claim, right? You're like, I'm a comic book fan. Most comic book fans who read Marvel, yeah, they like Galactus. He's the most iconic Marvel villain. Everybody, anytime, people think of villains from Marvel.
For sure. Definitely up there.
Yeah, anytime there's this before, it's like, oh, you want to have a doomsday end of the world event? Galactus, right? It's like
Grace.
So it's silly that she's saying that. She doesn't even see the irony of saying that. It's like saying, oh, Doctor Doom, Doctor Doom is a fucking ridiculous villain. Who fucking takes him serious?
If you really think about it, it's a ridiculous name.
Yeah, but just on the premise of saying that, and you're like,
yeah,
and then she has to say, I'm a comic book fan. Even as a comic book fan, I think it's ridiculous. It's like, okay, that's fine. Believe what you want, but your opinion does not represent the consensus. The consensus is he's an iconic villain that people really love to see. That is the most delusional thing to even say. You could say, oh yeah, I'm not a fan of the character, but I'm curious to see. But here she is going like, oh, it's a hard sell. Grace, you're acting like we've never even seen a fucking giant alien being float right above the planet. Did you not see fucking Guardians of the Galaxy? Did you not see fucking Eternals? Those are Celestials.
Do you
They
not see Transformers as a fucking planet, unicorn or whatever?
forget about Transformers. It's in the MCU. The
Oh, that's
MCU
true.
literally has. We've seen Celestials, right? Now, Galactus is not a Celestial, but the visual of it is very similar. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
him eating worlds. He's the destroyer of worlds, right? It's this kind of like dark. Like, could you imagine like something like this coming into our reality, right? Where it's like they're coming in and they're like, oh, we're gonna just fucking swallow the earth, right? It's like Lovecraftian, right?
yeah.
Like that's the whole idea of Galactus. But she's like, that's fucking silly. It's fucking ridiculous. His fucking costume is ridiculous and blah blah blah. It's like, get the fuck out of here, man.
To general audiences. Comic book fans will be like, yes, that's exactly what Galactus looks like. Thank you very much. But
I think the general audience fans will be fine.
If they're okay
Social
with a
media-
talking tree and a fucking raccoon and all the other bullshit that we've seen in the fucking Marvel universe, yeah, I think they're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Get the
A
fuck out
talking
of here.
talking raccoon is a little bit ridiculous than this. Like, be honest.
I think general audiences are going to be like, what does he do? What's he wearing on his head?
He eats planets.
Ridiculous.
Like this is what I'm saying. This is why I hate Grace. I can't fucking stand Grace, man. And there's people in the comments like actual
Oh yeah, we'll see.
bozo status. I'm sorry, bozo status here saying I agree and blah blah blah. It's like you guys are not the fucking orbiters or the fucking people to fucking tell us what majority fans like. Okay, you guys are in the minority. You guys have already pretty much outed yourself as not being a fan, right?
Yeah.
And yet here you are trying to tell other people how they should feel about a popular character. Bizarre. Bizarre fucking take. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Have your opinion, but don't fucking tell other people what they should feel like. It's like, come on, man. And then downplay other people. It's fucking bullshit, man. It's fucking bullshit.
Let's go see Superman again. All right.
Superman.
So, hey,
Didn't she say
the thing
Superman
seems to
was
be pretty
ridiculous?
Yeah.
Because there's a fucking kaiju Godzilla. You're like, oh, that was ridiculous,
Yeah.
and crypto and blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go
Sold
back
a
and
lot
look
of
at that?
merch,
It's
at
fucking
least.
stupid. It's fucking stupid.
So there's the Fantastic car, and they're like, we don't pay for extras. Maybe it's very early in the morning. They're like, there's nobody on the street. Shut up, I don't want to hear it. This movie was expensive enough as it was.
Who cares?
All right, so again, the
Large
flying
always.
looks fantastic. The fire effect looks amazing. Woo, here we go. So there's Ben Grimm. I gotta tell you, I'm just seeing a Rocky the Hulk. You know? Eh.
Do you see what I'm talking about? Like, am I just losing my fucking mind?
No.
Am I just losing my mind? She's like, he's just a Rocky Hulk. Are you, Grace? That is the point. That's the fucking point. He's a fucking monster. That's literally the entire point of how Jack Kirby. Listen, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, both as creators, they were kind of interested in monsters, right? That's why Stan Lee created the Hulk, right? They like sympathetic monsters, right? And if you think about it, it makes a ton of sense.
Oh, send me.
It makes a ton of sense, right? So it's like, and guess what? Both the Thing and the Hulk are fucking rivals.
That's good sideways. That's good.
It's fucking stupid. It's like, by the way, he's not even as tall as the Hulk. That was another thing people were saying. They're like, oh, he's too
Hulk is
small.
bigger.
He's too small. The
Hulk
Thing
is
is
still bigger
supposed to be like what, 6 foot? He's supposed to be like a size of a normal dude. He's
Yeah,
not some
even-
8 foot tall fucking
Even
Thanos Hulk style
Even Michael
character.
Chiklis, the one from the 2005, was bulky but not tall.
Yeah, and then here she is. Look, he looks like a Rocky Hulk. All right. Just losing
But
my
I
mind
tell you,
here.
I've never been a big The Thing fan.
Oh,
Some of you are
shut
like, oh, what did?
Grace, you aren't a fan of the Fantastic Four. That's the truth. You literally just said, You didn't like fucking Johnny. You're like, they miscast Johnny. You pretty much outed yourself that you don't know anything about Johnny Storm. You outed yourself that you don't like Galactus. Here you are saying, I don't like the Thing. All these characters are fucking wildly popular, by the way. Wildly popular. Like, if you were to ask people what their favorite fucking characters of Marvel are, they're gonna be at least in the top 20 characters. You know what I mean? There's a lot of fucking characters, but I mean, they're gonna be in a fucking like people are gonna say the Thing or I like Johnny, I like the Human Torch. It's like, what are you fucking saying? What are you fucking saying? It's just like
Did you say Grace?
you can
I'm
have
sorry,
your
I'm not a big
opinion,
Thing fan.
but this is crazy. This is craziness. This is craziness.
All
Okay,
right, so there he goes.
insane.
And we'll see who John Malkovich is playing. He's the only. They have a very big all-star cast, and
You know what? I hear some people saying, "Oh, this is gonna play Nathaniel Richards, Reed Richards' father." John Malkovich is like not that much. It's like 20 years older, Patrick scale. I don't think that works. Honestly,
No, I don't.
he's not playing the father.
I've seen people say that he's like an older version of Reed Richards. If that was the case, why wouldn't they cast the actor that looks more like Pedro Pascal?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't. I think it's either
He's a villain.
yeah. I think he's going to be a villain, right? I don't even think he's
I
going
think
to
he's
be
Red Ghost.
part of the. Yeah, I think he's either Red Ghost or Mole Man, whatever which one. We don't even know because it's like we just see this shot of him.
There's
That's
three
it.
villains. I think you mentioned too, the Mole Man, Red Ghost, or possibly Puppet Master.
Puppet. Some people are saying, Molecule Man. Like who fucking knows, right?
No, no, he's not. I guarantee he's not Molecule.
Who really fucking knows, right? It's like we don't really know who he's playing based on the shot. It's like he just has a white beard, so
Because
it's
he's in
like
prison.
okay,
That's the thing.
yeah. So because I did see like I understand why some people are saying, oh, he could be Reed Richards because if this is taking loosely from the Earth X comic, where it's like okay, we had a female Silver Surfer, then in that comic there was an old Reed Richards, right? So I kind of see what some people are saying, but it's like I don't know. It's like if that was the case, wouldn't the actor look like Pedro Pascal? Maybe not. Maybe not, right?
You know what'll give it away? If you've watched the movie and he starts speaking in a Russian accent, you know who he is.
I mean, who
That'd
really
be Red
knows?
Ghost.
I mean, maybe this another rumor that was in this or a rumor that people were talking about was that they might introduce the Council of Reeds.
Yeah.
Which I mean that could be possible. That could make sense.
I
But again, that might.
honestly, I just know
But
he's
if
just a villain. John Malkovich is a great villain actor. He's great at playing villains as actors.
Yeah.
As an actor, he's a villain for sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, the trailer's cut in a way where it's like, who really knows what exactly is going on?
I think he's a guaranteed a villain because John Malkovich is the best at playing one of the best actors at playing villains. He's so good at it, right? Like he's so good at playing villains.
he's the only one who rated the teaser. That's a nice shot. Earlier, simpler, more innocent days.
Innocent
And
days.
there's New York looking pretty much like the way it looks. I see
Yeah,
a
it looks
couple of
Manhattan. You live there.
futuristic buildings photoshopped in there. They need more. I should definitely. Well, as soon as I see it, I should be like, "What New York is this?"
What New York is this?
Like, where is the Baxter Building? Isn't it supposed to be where the United Nations is? Is it all the way on the side there? Is it that tiny little building? It looks so much bigger in the trailer. Okay.
That's because it's from a very zoomed out view. What do you? Come on. Seriously?
That's Grace for you.
Yeah, Sam. Yeah, that's what I heard too. Like, Grace. If you want to find out, zoom in. Okay, zoom in.
That is where the United Nations is. Okay. So they haven't
Who
stuck
said the United Nations is in this universe? You know what? It doesn't have to exactly be in this universe. It's fictional. I mean, if Latveria is in this world, why is the United Nations in this world? The United Nations doesn't have to be in this world.
shield on their Statue of Liberty, and they're
Grace, not everything that matches 1960s in the fictional world has to match what happens in real life. Not everything has to match. You know that, right? It's fiction.
Well, yeah, it's an alternative universe.
Yeah.
There's Galactus, looking actually somewhat tiny. How's he going to eat this planet if he's so tiny?
Easy. He's gonna take a knife, fork, a spoon, a plate. He's gonna cut each continent one by one. You know. He's gonna
Maybe
start
he's
with
gonna go to
Africa.
Grace's apartment in this universe and just, you guys can finish that.
Yeah.
You get
He's-
canceled
yeah.
for saying that.
He's gonna take Grace as a condom, like stuff in his mouth.
Yeah.
And that's his dumb hat.
His dumb hat? That's not a hat. Did she say hat? Did she say hat?
And there's
Yeah,
Galactus, looking actually
Just
somewhat
play back.
tiny. How's he going to eat this planet if he's so tiny? And that's his dumb hat.
Oh, so here we are, another, misconception from Grace Randolph. Oh
That's
my
his
god.
head, Grace. He's not a helmet.
Galactus can change his size.
Then can he?
Yes.
Okay. But that's what it You know what?
Yeah,
you know what's
his
punchline?
tiny-
I have a
his hat.
backstory for Galactus. He has like some sort of living quarters in space, and so he doesn't. So that has a hat, and when he decides it's time that he destroyed his world, he puts his hat on. He changes his size, and he does his job.
Mm.
We have to give Galactus a backstory. He has a fucking hat. Hats are soft, Grace. Hats are meant to be soft. You know what the difference between a helmet and a hat is, Grace? Hats are soft. Helmets are not. Helmets are hard. That's the difference.
I know everybody's losing brain cells hearing this shit.
Yeah, oh,
It's just
yeah.
insane.
And I would nix this. I would have nixed this shot. I'd be like, oh God, no. All right, that's as bad as Super.
I really like in all honesty, maybe I'm just like a cruel person. I don't fucking know, but it's like I really wish Grace would produce a movie. Like the way that she talks about like certain things, it's like I really wish she would actually put her money where her mouth is, because I really don't think Grace has the chops and the creative vision or taste to really make a successful movie. In fact, multiple times Grace has pretty much, I mean, one, she's endorsed some of the worst movies that have flopped and nobody liked and like praised them. Like, don't you guys think it's really weird how Grace
Raven.
loves to nitpick
Raven's
and
one.
and shit on movies that are beloved and like the general audience likes, or movies that are even successful, and then she like tries to downplay their success? But then for some reason she's always hyping up movies that flop, that bomb. She's always trying to give them credit or whatever. She's always saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
don't bully a movie." But it's like, how about
Don't
let's not nitpick a fucking trailer, a teaser trailer, and start jumping to crazy conclusions that don't make any sense. That's crazy, but making fun of a movie because it's bad, oh, good lord, don't do that. What the fuck? You're a terrible person if you do that. It's like, again, it's like Grace is such a fucking sheltered person. It's like fucking mind blowing. It's like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Superman having the weird eyes. That's how bad that shot looks.
Why? It looks.
Yeah, like, could you, mind you, she said that
She's jealous.
the Superman trailer was better than this, and she's comparing, which, by the way, again, bullshit fucking controversy for Superman. She's comparing that shot to this. Is she like okay? Is she okay? Like, okay, if there was one problem with this Superman shot, it was the fact that he was cross-eyed. And I really think that was the reason why people were complaining, but they just couldn't say why he's cross-eyed. So they made up all these like bullshit reasons.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But it's like here, it's like, again, what is even the comparison? Like, what is wrong with the shot? It's like, oh, it's like the Superman shot. Huh?
Who did she write, Grace? Who did she write?
Yeah, she has read the comics that no, she didn't write for Marvel. She didn't write for Marvel. She wrote her own comics. But maybe we should review Grace's comic.
What's the
and
comic?
talk about it. I have no clue.
Sorry.
But it was not a
All right,
Marvel
so there
comic. It was like an independent comic she made.
they are. I don't know why these arrows are all pointing at them. I'd be like, rip these
Okay,
arrows
you want to
out.
know why? Again, I mean, okay, whatever. Again, I'm gonna just say that again. She just doesn't know. I mean, I didn't know, but the reason is because, well, it's a reference to the Beatles.
Yeah, it's the
The
60s. Yeah, the
yeah, the
Beatles.
Beatles had like a stand like that when they were performing. So it's like
Oh,
if you pull up the image, you could probably find it, but that's what it's a
yeah.
reference to.
If I was doing this presentation. And there they are. They look, I mean, it's a nice shot. They look very comics accurate. But I'm not like, I don't look at them and go, I want to be a fantastic, I want to, they just don't look that cool. They look fine. I mean, that's the Fantastic Four, all right. And there's the logo. They're like, woo, 1960s. And I think everyone's like, presented in Fantastivision. And as some of you
And
pointed out,
everybody's
it's got
like-
that 20th Century Studios thing on there, which I think is interesting. Welcome to the family. Vin Diesel's like, come on, shmona.
What?
But-
What? Where did Vin Diesel do that?
I don't know.
And as some of you
Fucking
pointed out,
embraces
it's got
drunk
that 20th
fantasies, I
Century
guess.
Studios thing on there, which I think is interesting. Welcome to the family. Vin Diesel's like, come on, shmona.
When did it? Okay.
I don't know. Weird joke, but
But yes,
at this
welcome to
point,
the
we've
family,
lost
July
enough
25th.
brain cells to maybe not even understand
So,
that complex joke.
That's let me get back to the shot here. I guess we'll go with this one. So that's my thoughts on the trailer. I think again, I thought it was surprisingly just medium, and I think that Superman has a real shot at I think, and again, we'll see how Jurassic World
Oh my God! Like, look, I know, Blind. I thought the Superman trailer was better, but man, it's not like I hated a Fantastic Four like she did.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
this
hate the
was
Fantastic Four. I like the Fantastic Four.
and mind you, she shot all over the Superman trailer.
Yes. Okay. The only thing she liked about Superman was Lois. That's it.
Yeah. Can we go and look at the people who are paying to be her channel member and saying delusional shit? Because Grace said it, so it must be true.
Is it possible to do it? I do.
Go to the top comment. Top.
Okay, how do the top comment? The top comment is this guy right now. 2 days ago, 313.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this guy saying? I think some people are missing the fact that they are acting within the movie because they are being filmed by a news crew. There's 2 levels deep. I can't read what the guy's saying. It's too
Okay.
fine.
Okay, I'll read it. Okay. You made this point. I don't know if it's yesterday or the day before, but you say the exact same guy because I think he said this point. They're being filmed, right? Remember
Right.
Reed Richards and Vanessa Kirby's character Sue Storm were being filmed, right? Their daily lives on the Fantastic Four, what it's like the daily life of Fantastic Four movie.
hmm
But that's with the camera on, right? With the camera off, it's a whole different situation. It's a whole different animal,
Right.
right? It's not exactly a stable family. That's what
Right.
the guy's trying to say, right? Like when you see on camera, it's not what is really going on. That's what the
Right.
guy's trying
Which is the point of the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four are they're a family, but they have their personal issues and their flaws, right? So it's like, and they see their powers as being reflective or a part of their flaws, right? So, I mean, yeah, like it's just kind of weird that again, it seems that's why I say I just don't think people like the Fantastic Four. I don't think they are fans of the Fantastic Four at all. I don't think they've even really read the like, hey, the recommended stuff, but here they are saying that they are fans and they love the Fantastic Four and all this shit like that. But it's like they can't reference,
Mhm.
hey, I like the Jonathan Hickman run, or hey, I liked when Mark Waid did the Fantastic Four, right? Like all these people, all these different writers and artists who worked on the Fantastic Four, they're not I read the comics, but I can't tell you which one I liked.
This is a great point by this guy who replied to the
Well, I know which one you're
she
talking about.
overanalyzes
Yep.
things. She does that more and more with time. Grace just enjoyed a movie sometimes. He's
Yeah.
right. She does overanalyze stuff that shouldn't nobody cares about. Nobody looks at. Like she's the only one.
Yep.
Hey,
It's not impactful to the story. It's not impactful to the performances. It's just very bizarre criticism in my opinion. Very nitpicky. Insanely nitpicky.
let's see.
Oh,
Here we go.
that reply to that second comment. I think that was like a Grace defender, no? Again, I can't see because it's really fine, but it says. Actually, you know what? I'll just pull it up because I'm on my computer anyway.
Mhm.
I just want to finish this
No,
poster, but okay, I'm gonna pull it up so then I can read it better because on my phone it's like really small. I can barely read what it's saying. Just
I don't know
mute
how she
this.
got involved with Marvel Comics. But she's. I don't think they're gonna get. I don't think Marvel's interested in her again because all she does is bash her shit.
Okay, so yeah, this top comment here says, just to be clear, the Incredibles were a copy of the Fantastic Four, not the other way around, which is what we were
Oh
saying,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Obviously, that's obvious. Then someone says, as we've seen with Marvel and DC, and this is what Grace likes to argue, the first isn't necessarily the most well received / known. And it's like, I'm sorry, but it's in some cases I can understand, but in other cases it doesn't even make any sense. It's like, even when, first off, one, The Incredibles, people, even though the Fantastic Four, they're okay. Here's the thing: the Fantastic Four were well fucking known even before their fucking movie. They were the
Yeah.
premier Marvel fucking team. So it's like the Incredibles were, hey, this is a superhero family team that was
Uh-huh.
clearly inspired by the Fantastic Four, right? Whether people knew that or not, that's the case. That's what it was, right? So it's like, regardless of it being well received or not, I don't even think people are even going to be like, oh, the Fantastic Four are a copy of Incredibles, because that would be stupid. And pretty much everybody would come out and say, hey, that's not the case, right? I also, by the way, I don't even see that from people who are not fans of the Fantastic Four. Like, I've never seen anyone go, "Oh, the Fantastic Four are a ripoff of the Incredibles." The only person who's ever brought that up is Grace Randolph.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard any sort of casual person even really compare the two, even though it makes sense to compare the two because uh, of the inspiration. But it's just, again, I just think it's stupid. And of course, the person who said this, the response is a channel member of Grace. So you know what I mean? Like,
This is funny.
okay, let's go to the next one here. This one is more criticizing her. Oh yeah, no, actually, you know what? I'm going to the fourth one with the guy with the Moon Knight profile picture. Grace, I think you may just not be a fan of the Fantastic Four. That's literally what I think. I don't think she's a fan of the Fantastic Four. I don't think she really has read the Fantastic Four like that. I don't think she's not someone who's well versed with the Fantastic Four. Okay, that's just the truth. Um, if a comic book fan like Grace isn't into the Fantastic Four, how will this be received by the general audience? Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here, dude! Get the fuck out of here! And then this person goes, I don't like the Fantastic Four either. Okay, you not liking the Fantastic Four, and Grace, and we should put in quotations, comic book fan, because Grace is always hyping up the worst shit. She's always hyping up the worst shit.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
She hyped up. Listen, I gotta be honest. I don't like the Harley Quinn show. I tried watching it. Not my cup of tea. She loves that fucking show. She loves that fucking show. She always fucking makes excuses for that show. But if that show was fucking written by James Gunn, she wouldn't like
She'll
it.
hate it.
She would hate on it. And by the way, the only reason why they continue to make seasons of that show is because James Gunn liked the show and he was on the show. So this is why I say, can we really take Grace that serious? Right? Like these people, like this comment is saying right here, if she's not a comic book fan, first off, one, this is why it's like mixing opinion and the general consensus, it just gets confusing. It's just really stupid, right? It's like, how can we discern or dissect whether people are going to be into it or not? Which, by the way, the trailer is like what, in the top 10 most viewed trailers within the first 24 hours. Most of the movies that are in the top 10 all opened at least with like 140 million opening weekend domestically. So this idea of like, oh, how is it going to be perceived by the general audience? Clearly people saw it, people liked it, there's a lot of fucking views on it, people are excited, and really the only people who are fucking complaining are fucking, again, these weird fucking criticisms, weird bizarre criticisms that are not really going to connect with people, right? The only stuff that maybe, will trickle down is when people go, oh, this is woke and all that bullshit, right? Because that's the fucking shit that you end up hearing from, like, sadly, the general audience, right? The general audience is like, oh, I heard it was this and that, or it was woke, or I started hearing that more, which is fucking just, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm fucking burnt out, raging and ranting about this bullshit, man. Because these comments just like, and I am a fan, and that's why I get heated, right? So you could
Yeah.
say whatever, but I just think if you're going to do these types of analysis, be open and honest and say, hey, I don't know this, I'm not familiar with that, or whatever it is, right?
She,
Because yeah, it's like this.
she never.
Sorry,
She
but yeah,
never.
I'm talking too
She
much.
never does that. Look at her video game movie stuff. She admits she doesn't play video games, but when she talks about video game movies, stuff like that, why this is happening, why this, like Sonic with Shadow or with Mario, she
Yeah,
makes it out like she's like, yeah, this why like with Mario with Princess and stuff like that. Like, don't. She's a movie reviewer, but if you don't know the reason why, like Peach and Bowser, that whole thing, please don't talk about
yeah,
it.
yeah. She often says things where it's like, I mean, again, it's like you don't have. It's okay that you aren't. Well, you don't know certain things, right? We all don't know everything, right? Um, that's okay, right? The issue that I take with is that for some reason, people like to say they know shit and then they get caught in a lie like Grace.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, actually, you say that you're a fan, but then it's like you're saying
There
something
you
that,
go.
again, most people, I would say, generally don't agree with, or is just either factually wrong, right? It's either one of those two things.
Hmm.
And instead of being like, yeah, I'm not familiar, or why is this the case, or whatever, it's like, I'm gonna make a definitive claim about
Opinion.
this. Bowser lusting after Peach is creepy and weird, and we shouldn't show that to kids, despite that being in the fucking Mario games for the last 40 plus years, and no one had a fucking issue with it. There's no fucking moms against Bowser fucking programs,
Late.
right? Or
Yeah.
ads, like, silly shit. I'm telling you, silly fucking shit. Grace sometimes comes off as a general audience normie pretending herself to be a comic
She
book fans in
does.
quotations. Yes, I agree. She doesn't need to keep saying, well, as a comic book fan, because it's
You
just
know.
there to legitimize the opinion instead of it just being her opinion. You know
You
what I
know.
mean? It's like,
Oh.
you know what
You
I
know.
mean? It's
You know
annoying.
what's one of her stupidest things she said on her review of the trailer? Because you weren't here earlier, but it was
Mhm.
early in the trailer. Do you know the posters that they showed for the move for the trailer? Right,
Right.
posters. Do you remember that poster where you have like a crowd with the Fantastic Four signs and like
Yeah.
stuff? She said, I wish they showed who they were cheering for. I'm like, Grace, it's on the fucking signs and balloons who they're
Yeah,
cheering
it's on the
for.
fucking, yeah. They're cheering for the Fantastic Four. ridiculous take.
I made a joke. Yeah, you saw that. You saw this, what she said on the stream, on her video, right?
Just stupid.
I made a joke. Oh, they're cheering for the Avengers. They're cheering for Spider-Man. Oh, they're cheering for Superman. Like, it's like I'm like, how can you miss that? It's right in your face. Yeah, the thing. I know Campy liked the trailer. That's why I don't. I'm not, oh, Campy hated Smurf trailer. Oh my god.
Bruh.
Now there's nothing at the Super Bowl, and there's no trailers to the Super Bowl. Do I really care about like seeing another Captain America trailer at the Super Bowl? Really?
Maybe another Thunderbolts trailer.
Would that be like the third one? Like 4 months out?
Yeah. Yeah, it would be.
Wait a minute. All right. Thank you for coming on, Blinded. We've been 2.5
No
hours.
problem.
I know Tony's streaming right now.
Oh, is he?
Oh yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, he's streaming. I know you. I'm just reading something about X-Men, MCU X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, Tony is streaming right now. I think yeah, he has a huge announcement later after this, after his main topic. I'm gonna probably watch some bit of it. Thank you for coming on Blind. You know, you're streaming tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Yes. After last night, the craziest stream. Oh man, that was a
Tony?
crazy stream.
Tony?
No, my stream.
Oh.
You didn't see my guest who came
Oh, I
on with
saw-
Red?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely crazy stream. So I guess yeah. Well, I'll
Are
stream
you?
again.
Is it a video game stream tomorrow, or is it gonna be like a StreamYard where you're gonna just talk?
I think I want to play more Marvel Rivals. I mean, after I finish this poster, I'm gonna play more Marvel Rivals too. So we'll see.
All right. Thank you for coming on, man. Make sure to
No
check this
problem.
channel out tomorrow. 7:30, right? Like around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No stream for me tomorrow, guys. You know I don't do Fridays. Saturday I'll be back, but I don't know what I'll do on Saturday yet. Sunday nothing. There's no point doing a Super Bowl stream anyway because everything got released early, so whatever.